Hi, everybody. I'm Laura Ashley Abraham,
And I'm Connie Smock.
and together we are the Michigan Medium Angels. Welcome back. Today is day 11, and we're going to continue our discussion from yesterday, which we were talking about not taking things personally. And today's discussion is going to be on detachment and letting go, and what does that look like? And I think a lot of us are going to be going through that right now on detachment and letting go. So this is a great topic because of everything going on. We're really having to work on detaching from outcomes and all of that, all of the thinking about what does this mean and what does this look like and what do I do about this? So anyways, go ahead, Tink.
Actually, because this is the CNL Good News, just so you know, for those of you who don't watch the news, for most people like me, it just came across to that there's a stimulus package and they're sending households checks from the U.S. Treasury within 3 weeks. It says the plan provides for $1,200 for each adult and $500 for each child under 17. A married couple with 2 children will get $3,400.
Awesome. Okay, good. I didn't know, I didn't
Yeah,
realize that. Okay.
most people will receive the money in a payment from the Internal Revenue Service soon. It does go into I just saw this, so I don't know the qualifications yet, but yeah, so we'll have to look at that, and I don't want to spend too much time because we have a limited amount of time, but it's good news, right? Yay! Good
Thank
news,
you.
guys!
Thank you for the good news. We need good news.
We do. Okay, so topic of detachment. If for those of you who watched the video from yesterday, one thing too, this is really good practice to do in anything is to, again, it's continuation of not taking things personally, because you really have to detach from outcomes of things and look at things as an observer and look at things from above, because when you're in it, it's so hard to see what really is going on, because I promise you what really is going on isn't what's going on. There's a bigger picture. There is a bigger picture. Everybody's just learning their life lessons. That is it. No matter what is going on, no matter what argument someone is in, no matter what resentment someone has for another, you're learning your life lessons, whether it's forgiveness. And you're going to be placed in experiences to help you learn that. Because if it were easy, we've talked about this in the past, if it were easy, if you had the cleavers, and those of you who are old enough to know who the cleavers are, which I am dating myself, but right? If you had the cleavers as parents, what kind of lessons would you learn, right? Oh dear, you didn't put away that toy. Come on now. Not really, what kind of lesson are you going to learn? And I'm not downplaying people who have had significant childhoods such as yourself, very traumatic. Understand though that it does happen for a reason. There's so many reasons why that happens. Whether it's you're learning your life lesson of forgiveness, again, how would you learn forgiveness if you weren't placed in that situation? Or maybe it's so you could help other people, like what you're doing now, Twink. You're able to empathize and share with so many people on a level that you would never be able to had you not gone through what you went through. That's another thing. So it's very important to detach from outcomes. If you didn't hear the one from yesterday, you should probably go back and listen to it, because part of what we talked about was having that difficult conversation with someone where you can see that whatever the situation is isn't good for them, and they just continuously complain about it rather than trying to do something to help themselves. So once you've had that conversation with someone, the next step is letting it go and not judging what happens from there, and understanding that that person is just learning their life lesson. Your soul has no time frame. You can learn a life lesson for a minute or a lifetime. It really doesn't matter. So that's for you to let go. And even if you're in it, let's say someone isn't speaking to you. This happens a lot with parents and children, where the child, maybe it's a divorce situation, whatever the case may be, where that child is not now speaking to one of the parents. That's the most difficult to let go. But when you do, it's really freeing, because you have to trust that the truth will be revealed, and that in time, that person, whether it's a child or another person, will return back if they're meant to be in your life. But that is one of the hardest lessons, especially for people who do have kids, because that's such a bond, and it can feel like such a betrayal. But if you look at it again, if you look at it from above, that it's not a betrayal, it's everybody's just learning their life lesson. Does that make sense?
That does. That was so amazing. Thank you for sharing that too, because I know clients who have similar situations to that, and where they feel that they have given so much to their child and not having that be returned for whatever reason, and not having that same consideration, it can be so painful. And that is absolutely one where, and I've worked with people on learning or helping them to detach from that situation. And how you do that is exactly what Connie just said, recognizing that you can give somebody love and you can love them. It's the same thing with any relationship. But sometimes that person doesn't give that love back to you in the way you think that they should. But they have their own life lessons, they have their own things going on. And it could be for many, many reasons why they're not returning that love back to you. But when we talked about this in the other video too, is when you have somebody, let's say you have a friend who, and it might even be you that's complaining all the time about a relationship or a person. What are you doing about it? And you can ask that question to that person. So what are you going to do about it? That's another one that I love, is because they might want to complain or they might want to keep talking about it. And there's a difference between complaining and working through an issue. And I want to make that very clear. Did you just write that down? Yes.
I just wrote that down. Literally, I put difference. And I literally thank you. Yes, perfect. You are amazing. Go ahead.
we have the connection, the same brain, right? So I know for me personally, when I'm trying to work through something, I need to talk about it. I need to talk through it. A lot of times I'll talk through it with my guides, or I'll talk through it with Connie. There are times where I'll just have to go within and be very quiet for an extended period of time to sort through how I'm feeling about it. Because I can be more introspective, I think, at times. And whatever way you are or however you deal with things, there's a difference between working through an issue and wanting to talk about it, to understand it and have the clarity of why is this happening, or how do I help myself work through this and not take it personally. Because if you did do something wrong, quote unquote wrong, and you need to make that better, you need to make amends for it, and that person doesn't want to hear you or listen to you, you can write a letter, not to send it, but you can write down what you would say to that person energetically. That will shift the energy. Not sending it again, but saying, you know what, this really hurt me, or I feel this way about it, or I'm really sorry that I did this to you. And again, that shifts the energy. I've had that happen in my own personal life where, I worked through that, and then the person out of the blue called me or contacted me and was like, the energy completely shifted, and they were fine, and everything was okay. And so you don't necessarily have to have the discussion or the talk with the person. But let's say you have a friend who is complaining about the same issue or the same thing over and over and over again, year after year after year. When you have that happen, to me, that is them hurting themselves. That is them continually creating an experience that is toxic and not helpful and not good for anybody. So how do you get yourself out of that, and how can you help your friend in that situation get themselves out of it? You can't. That's where you can say, I love you. This is what I see happening, and this is the truth of the situation. And I hope that you are going to do something about it now. What are you going to do about it now? Because this has been going on and on and on. And I've been listening, and I've been talking to you, and I've been hearing you saying the same thing. You want to change and you want to leave, but what are you going to do about it? Because nothing's going to change unless they do that. So then they have that choice that you've given them the option and the choice. And now you have a choice of what you're going to do in the future if you're going to continue to listen to that. So, and that's, you can set boundaries with somebody and you can still be there. Maybe you don't listen to them every day. Maybe you listen to what they have to say once a week. And that may be enough to actually help them to shift the situation as well. So go ahead, Tink.
No, that's perfect. Nope. Beautifully said. And I think we are actually out of time. So this is perfect. It takes practice. So don't get, it's really hard to do. But once you do it, it's so freeing when you trust that everything will work out as it should. Again, if you have trouble with that, just keep saying over and over, my life is in divine order. Every time you start to worry or fear that someone won't be in your life if you say something, or that they won't come back to you, my life is in divine order. That's all you need to say. And then trust it. And then let things fall back and come to you instead of you pushing. And because the more you fear, the more worry, you're going to create those same experiences. So by you letting go, detaching, and trusting that whoever's in your life is supposed to be there, and if they're supposed to come back at some point, they will, that's when the magic happens. All right.
And I want to just add really quick to lovingly speaking your truth is never wrong. That's a very important thing too. So when you come at talking about a situation like this to anybody, when you need to say something, doing it in a way that is respectful and that is respecting them and respecting you is always going to produce the best results, and you're going to feel good about what you said later on. And then you can let go of how they respond and react. You can even write down a few key points that you want to discuss with this person and make sure that you say those things or how you want to say it. And then again, with the detachment, just reiterating the fact that detachment does not mean you don't care. Detachment is actually very, very loving because it helps that person on the other end of the receiving of it learn their lessons. And again, like Connie said, if they're meant to be in your life, they will come back. They will. If they're not meant to be in your life right now because the vibrations aren't good for you, give them some time. Let them figure their stuff out. When you have the when you have the energy of somebody complaining, that is like, ugh, that's like sandpaper. And it just may mean that they need some time to work through their stuff. So, okay, thank you everybody for watching our CNL Good News. Go ahead, Tink, sign us out.
Everybody have a magical day and night filled with peace, love, and light. Fairy dust to everyone. Yay.
Yay, I love that. That was great. Fairy dust to everyone.